Welcome back to Factory Town. Please excuse my voice again, it is very hoarse indeed. I'm hoping to recover soon, but you may get a few episodes out from me where my voice isn't as good as usual. I'm very, very sorry, but better this than subtitles, I would assume. Let me know in the comments if not. Anyway, we got to the end of a previous episode, and we got to the farm, but this isn't very efficient right now. It is self-powering. We have got a loop going from basically the pasture, which is producing fertilizer for the farm. The farm is producing grain for the grain mill, and that produces basically feed for the pasture. However, it's not great. So let's get it improved. So let's just put a new path in, and let's get rid of this long path out to the water. We're going to head out and actually build some well, I think, if we have it available. Yes, we do. So we can build that around. Let's put it there. And is that the worker going for the water? Yep, you are now going to go here and supply water to our pasture. And we'll have a second one that is doing the same thing, but do we have enough room? Well, let's build some more houses. There we go. More houses. Oops, that was a worker. Sorry, buddy. You're going to just supply water. Was that a worker? Yeah, you are going to supply water to the farm. Okay. I didn't mean to do that, but handy that they're there anyway. And that's offset by 1. Oh, don't count that. Nope, sorry, house. You have to be lined up with everything else. There we go. Okay, so we've now got 12 houses. That's our current limit. And we have 7 more worker capacity, but things are about to change a little bit because we need to rework a few things around here. First of all, let's just actually get started on the next bit of research. So let's choose the school and choose basic logistics. It has belts, cloth conveyor belts, but still belts. Yes, those of you who like Factorio, you know probably what's coming. So now we have to just really choose to speed up this farm a little bit and make it sustainable for sort of food for our future use. Okay, so at the moment, we'll have to rework this again, but for now, let's just move you out of the way. Let's actually see what we can do about farm tiles. So we've got 10 output of grain. We're not using it anywhere else at the moment other than in the grain mill. So we can just get the wagon to do that instead of a worker. And you can stand over there. And all the inputs are fed. Let's just make sure, well, let's basically flatten all this ground. And in fact, no, it needs to be a road, doesn't it, for a cart to be improved. So let's just build a road. Again, temporarily. Road. And we'll just make a ring there. Okay. And that's perfectly well. This is then going to output, get it full. And we are full on this. And everything is nicely full. All the way around, everything is backed up. So they basically, any output here, we can't really prioritize between this grain mill and this one down here yet. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of sharing. So we're gonna have to make a few things. First of all, let's actually improve the farm by getting a farm tile. You need to get fertilizer going from that. So we're gonna get fertilizer from here. In fact, let me just actually build a new wagon. Yep. And we're gonna get fertilizer from here. I'm gonna put it in our base. That'll then, or we could put it in the barn, but the base is fine. And then we'll be able to use that to make farm tiles. Similarly, we're also going to want the extra grain, and the grain's also going to want to go to the base as well. So again, can I buy another wagon? I guess I can. Let's just get the grain and go down there. So with fertilizer, we can plant farm tiles. And if there's some there already, we can probably already do that. Yep. And with the grain going to the base, we can then plant stuff on it. So in this case, we can plant, well, once I've got enough grain going down there, we can plant the same stuff as here. And this should automatically take care of everything, keep that farmland wet and growing, and then we should end up with grain. Now you can speed up the farm by increasing the number of workers. So if I add another couple of workers, it takes it to 160% speed. And of course, you'll see at the bottom, it's going through quite fast now. So it is going to use up more resources on the input side and also going to output more resources. Ideally, we sort of would like it if this was actually just full. i.e. we couldn't take resources away from it fast enough. So we'll have to see how that actually goes. For the time being now, I'm going to spend a little while waiting for that to build up and buy more farm tiles, because eventually I'd like the area that it covers north of this road to be just farm tiles-ish, and you can plant them over the top of existing crops. So if we just go to farm tile, we could put one there, for instance, and that would work perfectly well, I think. That's quite quick, actually. I was expecting to need to cut, but I think we've got enough fertilizer for that to be not a problem. Yeah, so then I just need to plant, obviously, the grain itself. Grain? How much grain do I have? Let's give it a go. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it's not too bad either. Okay, so we're now ready to make that a little bit better. We are researching. How's our research coming along? We do want this logistics for belts. So we're also going to want to change over the lumber mill setup on this side of the town and rework the grain mill here as well. And you'll see a number of our workers have actually stopped working because they've run out of crops to actually harvest. So, yes, this is now our only source of food, or at least food goods that we actually sell to get happiness, which is down. It's down to 3, even though we've got 12 houses. So we've got to solve that problem somehow. So first of all, I'm actually just going to get rid of this grain mill. Bye. We don't need that anymore. Let's just actually get a grain mill somewhere up here. Do you want a grain mill? Yeah, let me just put buildings, grain mill, and let me just move you. That will stop various things from working, but that's fine. We'll come back. Buildings, grain mill. I've got to be careful about the placement of this thing. And you won't know why yet, but we will soon enough. Should we be able to put it up here? Yeah, why don't we put it up here? So here's our grain mill, and we're going to select flour as normal. And then we've got to decide where to basically put these stuff together. So in the meantime, basically we've got full output. Everything is jammed now because everything is working. I stopped transporting the fertilizer to the base. So up here we've got a farm that isn't got any storage going anywhere. So in this case, easy enough to do. We just set it to the grain mill. The grain mill, we're going to select a recipe of flour. Yep, that's all fine. And then this thing is ready to produce food. Now, in the meantime, for a short period of time, we can set it to send food to the food market that way. And that will be happy... or should be happily working. Let me just move this worker around. In fact, let's just get rid of you. We don't need you. And this thing does not need anything more than grain. So that might seem that we should be able to connect that somehow with some kind of belt. How's the belt going? It's got 3 more left to go. Okay, so now let's just go back to our lumber mill. The lumber mill, it's always been a bit of a problem in that it had 2 recipes to serve. So what I'm going to do is just serve basically, and one recipe is from planks up here, and the other one can be the paper. Okay, so down here we can change the recipe to not do planks, only do paper. And then we're also going to do the same thing down here. We also want a well, because we're not going to actually rely on the river anymore. And that can go in place. Let's put it there. I'm not sure if there's any mechanism for piping water between the two. Do let me know if that's something that we can do. Otherwise, it's fine. So all these workers that are just sitting around not able to do anything, let's just reuse them just by starting to get some lumber to this here. And there we go. There's our research. So now we can do a few things, of which the main thing I'm interested in is the cloth conveyor belt. And it's a structure and a recipe. So yeah. So we can basically pipe stuff into a building, and then there is one output from the building. That's the green arrow. That's why I was worrying a little bit about the green arrow of this thing up here, because I want to be able to output stuff from here and maybe send it to a food market fairly close by. But I don't really want to have to construct like an upper level or something to send the belt along. We can do that, but that's something to think about later. Okay, I've moved our food market away from the centre of town, out here where it can be fed automatically by our grain mill. I've also added a recipe into the pasture to start producing wool. Now, it's not going anywhere at the moment, but we're going to be using the wool to basically do other things. And the workshop is here, may move that later. But for now, we can select another recipe. We can take the wool, produce cloth with it. Okay, and the cloth we can use to basically make, along with wood wheels, stone bricks, and cloth, we can make cloth conveyor belts. So we should just need to hook everything up with cloth now. So why don't we just grab another wagon? And you can grab cloth and bring it to the barn, which should be enough for the barn to be able to use it all. So let's see it going in there. There, it's got some wool, hopefully. And are you able to do anything with that yet? You should be able to make cloth with that. No? 4. It only needs 1. Maybe you just can't use anything from the barn. Fine, well, let's just change that to basically provide it to here then. That's fine. No problem. I thought you could do it with the barn. Maybe that's just shared storage for building actual buildings rather than products, in which case that's fine. So it's making cloth now, and that should you'll see it be able to make cloth conveyors once it gets wood wheels going. And wood wheels basically it can't make any more because they are they need planks, and we've not really put an output for this plank lumber mill yet. So again, we can just use some idle workers for that maybe, or maybe even wagons. I think I want to go for wagons. At least for the moment. And how many, well, that has 5 wheels already. And how many do we have over here? We have lots of planks, but we don't have any wheels. Fine, so we just make wheels from here. That should pick some up. Yep, there it goes. And we should be able to make other stuff too. So wood wheels is going on. And that should also start enabling them for cloth conveyors, hopefully. We're also going to need stone bricks. Now, the stone bricks are currently, I've moved our stonemason up here. They're currently going straight into the base, but we could, again, temporarily just grab stone bricks from there, provide it to our workshop, and then that should have everything it needs to start producing cloth conveyor belts. I don't think there's anything else I need here at the moment. We'll probably just reformat this thing so that they don't have to walk as far. Yep. You can just drop it on there now. Okay. And what have we got? So how is this getting on? This is actually being depleted, which goes straight into here, which is being automatically unloaded and moved to the food market, but again manually. But we'll have to deal with that again soon enough. I've got 5 workers spare, maybe 6 spare actually. Yeah, there's another one. Okay, so that's going on pretty well. Do we have any conveyor belts yet? No. Why no conveyor belts? You should have wood wheels, although are the wood wheels being taken somewhere else? They are. They're being moved by a worker somehow. I may have. This is the only downside. Oh, there we are. You. Oh no, you're going to take wood wheels and you're going to bring them back. Yeah. The only downside to the game I've found so far is, unless I'm missing it, there's no easy way for me to show a list of workers what they're doing and what they're going to without hovering over them, or clicking on them. And when they're moving around, it's really rather hard to. I mean, you can't even click drag. So yeah, you've got to be really quite accurate at doing this. However, there we get some cloth conveyors. Okay, all right. So does that mean we can? Do they need to be moved back to the base? Let's just see. Paths, cloth conveyor belts. Yes, they probably do. So let's get you moving those back. Oh, we could put in the wagon on the case, but it's fine for now. And can I then pull a cloth conveyor belt down? Let's try it. Yes, we can. Okay. Bear in mind, this is probably just 1. So we can just do that. Oh, look at that. Yeah, we have like 2. But whoops. Yeah, don't want to do that. I'll put that back. Paths, road. Yes, so we have the start of our Factorio belt. So this workshop will start making things automatically. I suspect that means that we're going to need multiple workshops because they're going to get conflicted all the different kind of recipes that we actually need. So maybe to keep things optimal, we may need, one just doing wood wheels being passed automatically into the next, and then cloth is being inserted. So, you require multiple things like in Factorio, where you have multiple assembling machines. And you might be saying, well, why can't you do the same thing with the farm? Just feed stuff from the farm straight into the grain mill and away it goes. Yes, you can. Absolutely. The main problem is, though, that this farm is the only farm that I'm currently running, and that I can't share it between the grain mill and the other grain mill because I don't have any way of splitting stuff yet. So I'm just using 2 wagons with 1 road space, and they both seem to want to share that 1 road space. So they will happily just share stuff around and keep both of these fed. Of course, we can just place another farm up here, and I will do that later. And we also want to get rid of these trees at some point as well, but that'll do fine for now. So these is all backed up now. The wool is backed up here, so everything is working pretty much at full speed. I have, however, increased the number of workers on this farm to 7 to make it 260% faster. And the same thing with the grain mill. And the same thing with the pasture. Not so much with this grain mill here, though. I mean, we could speed it up, but there's no real need. We're getting 3,000 yellow coins, and we don't need that more than anything else. We do, however, need red coins, and red coins come from basically selling goods at the general store. So you'll see I've just moved things around a little bit here so that I have basically bricks being supplied from the stonemason straight to the general store on quite a short path, and that provides red coins which are immediately used by this school, which is working on intermediate logistics, which happens to be splitters and mergers. If we just go over to here, sorters, pushers, grabbers, splitters, blockers, filters, and advanced logistics. Cool. So our little village is sort of developing, and although we can't split things on the chutes, you can sort of create multiple outputs. Basically, when one side is blocked, it will try and flow down the other side if you link chutes together like this. Works quite well. You got 1 input point and then 2 lumber mills being fed by it. Now that we've got automatic grain and it's nice and efficient, at least for the moment, for this stage in the game, we can obviously rearrange this to look a lot nicer once we have splitters and mergers and stuff. But in the meantime, we should now look at wood. So the same thing, but for wood. So we've got this block called the forester. Does the same thing as a farm, but you don't need farm blocks as such. You have like tree planters instead. I'm not going to use those just yet. Instead, I'm just going to show you what this actually does. So it takes in red coins. Red coins, the only source of right now is the general store, which is getting fed stone bricks. Okay, stone bricks are from our stonemason, and that's something we need to improve in the future. However, for now it's fine, and they automatically now produce wood, and it'll replant any trees. They won't get depleted as long as you mind what you're doing, because we don't. Because these, where are you going with that wood? Yeah, why don't you go somewhere else and get. Well, I need a bridge. You go stand over there. Okay. I don't want to remove all the wood, basically, from around this thing. So outputting, we're going to go conveyor belt out here into the lumber mill. This is producing planks, which is going, at the moment, just to my base. But you could also sell them at general store and get more red coins. Entirely your choice. That's also why I've shut down research for the moment, because that also uses up red coins, and I don't have enough of a supply yet. So here I've also got a bridge. Now I wanted to show you how to do this because this is a sort of part of the game. There is a third dimension. We haven't really covered it so far. So just to give you an idea, and just as a trivial and awful example here, we've got a bridge. You can't really bridge these chutes because they're not powered. So you can't lift them up above something and back down again. They'll just stick once they get to the up ramp, just as you might imagine in real life. I haven't found a way to have any kind of powered chutes or anything, nor can you seemingly output a belt onto a chute. That might be nice as well, but no. So the belts are magic, and this game does actually have magic in it, so I'm not just saying that just for the just because I don't identify electricity source, but to show you how to build these. They're relatively straightforward. They're just not very obvious when you first build them, so put some scaffold blocks up like that. In fact, not that top one, because I want that to be a bridge. And then, yeah, so we just go back and put in a bridge block. So, bridge, bottom, bridge in the middle, and then we can click on the bottom one. That goes away. And then you can put in the ramps. So we just get some scaffold ramps. And you can click on that block and that block, and you've functionally got a bridge there. You can do it, I'm sure, a number of different ways. I'm not sure if it would go without these two, or if it would just go with just these three center sections. If this was one block lower, maybe it would. It might do. Yeah, it might actually work one block lower. I'll try it again another time, but for now, that's basically how you build them. And then you can just lay conveyor over the top and they work perfectly well, which is good, because then I can just have these two sources of wood for now. Because this isn't producing, this forest is not producing wood very much, because we just don't have the red coins to do it. And that needs more sales to the general store. Which means, I guess, what we can look at doing is, well, once we have a splitter and merger of some kind, we can look at splitting up, like, resources. So we can sell, let's see, what will you take? You would take stone brick, you would take planks, look at the very top right of the screen. It will take excess wool and cloth, so we could feed in the cloth that we're using for the conveyor belts. Over here. Yeah, we're not producing cloth just yet. Why not? Oh, you are producing cloth. We're just not outputting anywhere because we don't have the stone bricks used to make more belt. So in the meantime, if you wanted more red coins, just as a temporary measure, we could buy maybe another wagon if we had some wagon wheels, which we don't. So as a temporary measure, you could just grab... Let me just grab this and then just output cloth to the general store. And just to speed that up a little bit, we want a road. Paths, roads. Where we're going, we need roads. Reference. There we go. And we've got lots of red coins coming in. So that's enough that I can probably select the recipe again. Intermediate logistics, and it only needs 10 more to go. And we got, well... Let's just disable this recipe and wait for that to complete for logistics. Oh, intermediate logistics, that is. And as it turns out, cloth is a much better source of red coins than stone bricks are. So I'm going to just change this to output stone bricks back to the base and then set this one up to actually produce wood again. And we got 90 coins, so we'll just leave that going. We do, however, need the cloth to come from up here, and this then will deplete a little bit because its output will be depleted once there goes cloth. Yep, it's gonna. Oh, sorry, the wool. The wool's gonna get converted into the cloth with just the wool, so that's fine. And we'll sell that, and hopefully that will continue to go up rather than the stone brick method, which was very, very inefficient and wasteful. Okay, intermediate logistics, got 7 more to go, and now there's a lot more lumber coming out of here, so one of the first things I'm going to do once this finishes is get rid of this chute entirely, get rid of this bridge, and then put a splitter onto this to produce more paper. 129, good, it's building up, I like that. Okay, so let's wait till the research is complete, and then let's see what we need to do to craft splitters and mergers. And now that intermediate logistics are done, we can then put in splitters. So if we go into logistics blocks, put in splitters, the back of the arrow is the input, every other side is the output, so we'll put one there, and they go left and right. I've got a bridge, just in case these guys can fit underneath it. They may not be able to. Why don't we just try and test that? Let's just see. Are you going to do fertilizer? If I go here to there? Oh, they can go underneath, that's fine. Cool. Okay, and that means I can probably put this well back where it was. Yeah, let's go and move that back. Yeah, they're going to object. Where's the well? I was bringing water from that well. We can just grab it and put it here, I guess. And then let's grab you, and you can get water from there to there. Yep. They don't seem to go under that bridge block. They just sort of stick their head through the belt, but okay, fine, fair enough. And on this side, we've got logistics. We do the same thing with splitter, so back is the input, and that should start splitting those. Yep, there they go. So now we don't really need to worry too much about this guy. You don't need to supply stuff to that. That's automatically being done. It's being supplied by red coins, of course, and that depends on our ability to generate cloth. And that is sort of broken at the moment because I broke things to get everything working up here, sort of. So we need water as an input, and that can wagon create water? Can you get water? Apparently it can. Okay. Very odd. But yeah, we can get water, which means it's going to output fertilizer. Fertilizer is going to get supplied and everything should start speeding back up again. I broke things while I just rearranged everything for the conveyor belt. And that will do just fine for now. It is getting spaghetti-like up there. I would like a lot more room, but we can't really just demolish these, unfortunately, immovable resources. You can't just press delete on them. Logistics block tools, remove resource. We can spend money to do it. That's interesting. Yeah, I like that idea. We've got 6,000 yellow coins, so we can remove resource. We do, however, want to make sure that we're not going to deplete our resource by doing that. So we've got renewable wood, we've got renewable grain. We don't have renewable stone. I guess there's got to be some kind of mine at some point, hopefully. It does say mining in there, so that is a worthwhile do. Let's have a look what else we can actually get. We can't actually put anything down yet that we haven't already seen. Yeah, so we've got to the point whereby now we may need more research being done, which may need me to wait for the cloth to speed back up again. Okay, but this seems like a suitable time to end the episode. We've got an improved farm, and probably I'll do the same thing with the forest though between the episodes. What we need for that is to go in here and create a tree planter, but that needs iron plate. And the iron plate will come from metallurgy, which is the other recipe in here. So if we go back to metallurgy, you'll see to actually get any of this research done, we need red coins now. So medicine or metallurgy, which unlocks a forge. Okay, you unwrap lots of medical stuff, steam power, steam generator. Advanced logistics is, wow, okay, that's going to be lots of electronics, maybe. In any case, the metallurgy is the first thing, and that would need lots of red coins to do so, so I want to wait until that's done before I worry about it. So I'm not going to worry about putting those planters in, because I can't yet until I get iron ingots. But for now, they will happily farm and replant these trees, hopefully. That's what the description says. And then the next episode, we'll move on to probably the metallurgy stuff and then the forge. And we'll have to try and find iron ore. I think there's some deposits. That's coal. Is this iron around? Oh, this is iron ore. I think that was coal. Yeah, so we've got lots of iron available here as well. Probably you want to put it up here if the forge takes iron ore straight and puts it into iron ingots. I assume it does, because they're, you know, in real life that doesn't actually happen. You can't just dump iron ore into a forge. You sort of want to, you have to smelt it down and grind it and add lots of other things to it to get the iron out of it properly. I'm not going to go into a discussion of blast furnaces and the whole Industrial Revolution, but for those of you who are interested, Google is your friend. Anyway, yeah, it'd be nice if we get a game at some point that actually does go through that process. Factorios doesn't really do it. Over to you guys. Do you know of any game that does actually deal with the industrial process properly? You know, going from things like very like swamp iron and stuff like that, all the way up through blast furnaces, really, and the whole Industrial Revolution. Be interesting if there was a game like that out, but yeah, if not, this is a nice simplification of it anyway. Nice one to play. Quite enjoyed it so far. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it too. Leave comments for other people in the comments below if you have, or if you are. And do let me know if you see any corrections, anything I need to actually change. Otherwise, we'll see you next episode for some more Factory Town and see where we get from there. If you've liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share, and click on the bell if you want notifications. Even dealing with my horrible, horrible voice for the next few episodes, hopefully you will be entertained. Let me put it that way. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.